trying to get the stump grinder unpacked. Don't know if I'll get it on the tractor. I got a lot of work tomorrow to do with the burn. But this thing is like, the base is bolted to the frame. The frame has got a skid steer, or a skid attachment kind of thing to it. This thing is like built to like take a tumble out the back of a truck, I think, and still survive. Holy smokes. Anyway, maybe that'll be something I do tomorrow. We'll see. One of the things I'm also doing is building a new shop PC. So this is going to have a Radeon 9 CPU in it, and there's a box right in here somewhere for it. It's a tough gaming graphics card. It's a relatively good one. I'll give you some more specs on that, but that was another project I've been working on. Along with, I got that sensor rack out. Unfortunately, it does take cam locks, and it looks like it's 3-phase. And I believe all of the dimmers are DM20s. So it means they're not relays, so they're not overly excited. Another project I picked up were these chairs. I got a set of 6 chairs for $2 or $3. 4 for $1.25, and 2 of them were $1 a piece. They're missing some of the slats, so it's got to get glued, but I have all the slats. So that'll be a project. The only one that's the oddball is this one here on the left. It's slightly taller, keeps the same basic genre of the others, but that's okay. We'll put it at the head of the table. These are going to go with that farm table I got a while ago. I think I paid $5 for the farm table. Kind of a nice kitchen table, so if we ever have gatherings here and we want to sit down and eat, I'll have a set of chairs and a table that we can eat at. The storage annex is kind of getting filled. I got a bunch of Metro Rack shelving in here and some other stuff, but I want to see if I can get these other chairs in here someplace. Yeah, maybe somewhere. We'll see. All right, so for those who are wondering, I had to shorten the PTO shaft. So I did measure twice, and I did cut once. But I had to measure twice and cut once 3 times to accurately get the right length. It turns out what they said would work wouldn't necessarily work out. And there's supposed to be like 6 inches of overlap in the way that the PTO shaft slides. I think we're fine. So what I had going on was this end of the PTO shaft is not fixed to anything. This is the end that's fixed to the stump grinder. So you really never detach this one. In fact, it's got a bolt that goes through it. This one has a pin that you can unlatch. But I couldn't get this to swing from down on the ground past the tow bar and then past all the other parts to come up where I could slide it in and get it to engage. So I had a little bit of cutting. You can see this is how much of a slide we have right now. So that's a couple inches, but I needed it to go in that far to be able to get it. Oh, bother. Just understand that I took my time and I made sure I didn't cut too much the first time, and I cut just enough. Just turns out I had to do it 3 times. So there it is, the stump grinder attached to the tractor. And one of the things I've seen people do incorrectly is, if you notice on this side there's this guard. That's because the blade rotates this way, and it's going to kick things up that way. So when I grind, I want to make sure the stump and whatnot is on this side of the tractor, not on this side of the tractor. If it's on this side and things are rotating this way and I get too big a bite, it's actually going to push itself out of the cut and not jump. If I were to do it on this side with it rotating this way and I took too big of a bite, it would end up pulling itself in and jumping and making a mess. So yeah, easiest way to remember is wherever the guard is, that's the side where the stump should go, and you should work your way going this way across the stump. Well, our electrician got the lights all hung. I got to use my scaffold to, what I did is I ran some extension cords. So 3 of them are now wired. So I've got light in here as I come into this part. This is kind of the main spot where I've been working. It's got where my desk is. It's where I pull the truck in and out. So this should work out well. Later on I'll close the door and see how the photometrics of this thing work out, but that should be adequate light, I think. Oh, and by the way, all of that steel from the frame that carried the stump grinder will give me plenty of steel to practice welding on. Yeah, never let anything go to waste. All right, well, let's see what kind of video we can get. Not gonna do any fancy mic stuff. Just gonna chop some wood. Well, there you have it. Just got a little bit more grooming to do, kind of smooth it around and so forth, but that should do it. And there you have it, stump ground. I think I need to spread a little bit more dirt. This has always been kind of a low spot, but it will turn out. And for those folks, there's been some saying this is a really tiny tractor, but you know what? It's quite the Swiss Army knife. When you start throwing things on the back and on the front, it can do just about anything, as long as you're patient and don't set your expectations of too high. Like, I want to pick up the truck. Yeah, it's not going to do that. Anyway, hey Thor. So Thor was wandering around out here, and he's like, tells me that maybe this frame that the stump grinder came in would make kind of a good base for the old sink. Yeah, it's a little deep, but could probably make it work. Just set it a little forward. I'll have to do some measuring, see if that works. You think it'll work? You do? Would you like to have a bath in it? No? No? Oh, you're such a good cat, though. All right, let me get my tape measure and see. So the tape measure says this is 37 inches wide and the sink is 43 inches wide. Some might look at that and say, oh, well, that won't fit. Well, it's just 3 inches. So maybe I could recess it, or I can build a platform on top of that nice stable base that won't rot, would rust, but I think we can make this work. Well, as of right now, that sink's going to have to wait. I've got a task to do out in the yard. Going to move some dirt and fill in a hole. Yeah, and then mow the lawn. So right there's the hole we're going to fill in, where there was 2 stumps that I ground out of there that were from the cypress trees. So we're going to go ahead and get that filled in a little bit with some dirt, and yeah, so there, it's right over there, right there, so that pile. It'll be fun. So I do not have teeth on my bucket. It's just a straight cutting edge. So this stuff's been sitting for a little while. I'm gonna just take the grapple and loosen it up, and then I'll go over and get the bucket and move all that stuff. Hey buddy. Our gopher tortoise is back, munching on what little grass is around. I wonder if I woke him up with the lawnmower. He's probably the one that's been making the... Whoops, where'd he go? Sorry, my bad camera. He's probably been the one making the tracks around this area. But good to see you back. Glad you're still around. So in case you're wondering what it sounds like, here's the shop. When it rains, it's hard to even really see the rain coming down on camera, but it almost gets so loud you can't hear yourself think or talk. So, welcome to Henry. Well, the rain gutters are working good, and the water's flowing the right direction. I'm not going to go out and double check what the end of the building looks like, but good times. So I started messing with the new PC and sound system and a Focusrite and a few other things, and I have a bit of sprawl. So I got to figure out how I want to mount this stuff. It'd be nice if I can get the new PC there hooked and connected somehow under the desk so that it's kind of back there. It might fit down on that shelf. May give me an excuse to do some welding. But yeah, subwoofer, all that fun stuff, lots of cable. And the electrician's coming back on Thursday. Recording this on Monday afternoon in the rain. But yeah, should all be good. We yeah, should get it all wired up and set. Hopefully I can put speakers on top of things instead of having these carts roll around. The problem with the carts, like this one here, is that I have a sloped floor. These carts roll really easy. so I could see my whole sound system just kind of careening on down the other end of the shop unless I lock them in. So, and these wheels don't have any brakes. So part of the thing I need to work on in getting the shop set up. But hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, we should have all the electrical in and running. That'll be awesome. So some time ago, I got this chair from work, Cast Connection, and I love the height of the chair. They work really well, like with this one here, at my desk, which is a complete mess right now, or over at the workstation there. But this one had some frays, and it was missing an armrest. Actually, the two of these, one had a good armrest and a bad one. Same with this. So together I made one good chair and thought, awesome, now I'm all good. But I was at Cast Connection today, and they had some of these low chairs that are, so it's a Knoll makes the chair, Chadwick is the line. Chadwick has been discontinued. Kind of hard to find parts. Knoll actually said they will have another set of parts in like a month, but they wanted, just for these armrests, $110 or $115 for a pair of armrests. So I thought, well, don't really like the lower ones. They're okay for the shop. You know, they had 3 of them. They were cheap. Cheap being like $15 a piece. I guess when Knoll sold them to Disney, they were probably closer to $400 a piece. So they're nice quality chairs. So I'll part one of them out, fix the high work chair that I have, and then I'll have 2 others that I can use around here for whatever. Or as parts begin to fail, I can use those. But you need to be creative sometimes as you think of these, well, I wouldn't call it antiquing, but salvaging or whatever. And also they had this rack. This is the second rolling rack that I bought. I had to take it apart a little bit to get it to stand up. The wheels for it are up at the back of the truck. It's kind of up in this area here somewhere. But I thought, well, I'll just take that apart, it unbolts, and just, you know, use it for welding practice or something. But then I thought, well, looking at it, it's probably a good height for my shooting range. So I can probably hang some targets off of it and plink away at it for that. So always have an idea of alternate things you could do with stuff, and you can make a lot of use of things. For those wondering how Loki's doing, he's doing just fine. Right, buddy? Content sitting out here in the bird cage most days, watching the wildlife outside. It was going to start raining here, but it didn't quite go yet. So we're just sitting out here relaxing, waiting. And in case you're wondering, over here is Thor. Hey, Thor. Just hanging out, waiting for the rain. Well, that's progress. Apparently the electricians got in here and they dug the trench for the electrical and for the conduit, so that is awesome. Looks like they even pulled in a power cord for something. I guess we'll figure that out. Well, I noticed my buddy out here wandering around. Not sure where his den is, but it's good to see that there's some of these out here that are still healthy, wandering around and having a good time. Kind of funny, I was out searching for the one guy's den, and I ran across this guy. So we've got at least 2 out foraging. And actually, I'm surprised I got as much done as I did. Good times, though. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, like, it does help.